Hi there. I have my trusty theraband with me today. So we're going to do another shorter, more express workout using the theraband, which is a really great tool to mimic the springs on the Pilates equipment and to help to create a little bit more space in your joints. The band acts obviously like a spring, so it really gives you that nice sense of length through your muscles and bones, and it also just helps to give you a little bit of assistance as well as resistance, which we will soon see. Alright, so we're going to start with a little bit of a hip release. This is a ridiculously long band. You do not need a ridiculously long band. This just happens to be the one that I have on hand at the moment. So we're going to make a little loop around your thigh bone, crossing your ends over so that you can really just have a nice secure handle on that. Finding that nice relaxed tailbone down to the floor, we're just going to start with a little fold in and out of that leg. So I want you to really relax your leg into that band. In fact, I can relax my foot. And you just want to think about that band acting as a little bit of a trampoline to get that hip joint just folding in and out nice and easily. And then I'm just going to keep my leg hovering off the floor and just steer that in and out from my center. So we're just going to take your leg as far as it goes without your pelvis having to jump on board. Just breathing easily here, no particular breath pattern required. And then we're just going to steer that leg in a little bit of a circle. So this may feel like a little bit of work in your arms, and particularly your wrists. And then we will just reverse that back the other way. And then before we do that on the opposite leg, just come and have a little check-in to compare. So we'll just bring your feet into that little froggy position. I encourage you to close your eyes as you do this so you can really tune into your body sense here, just to see what may have adjusted in between those hips. And then once you've got a read of that, we will, of course, do the other side. So just starting to go for that nice little fold up and down. Encourage your shoulders to stay nice and wide as you're getting that little fold going in the hip. And then we will just hover that foot and just steer that thigh bone in and out. Heavy leg into that band. And then just drawing those nice big circles with that leg. And then we'll send them back the other way. Alright, so we will just come and check in once more. Bring your feet to that little froggy position. Close your eyes and just see if those hips are feeling even in terms of their placement. If by any chance they're not, you're welcome to go back to the side where it might feel a little tighter and maybe just do a few more of those little circles until we're feeling like we're on a level playing field here. Alrighty, so we will now, if you're not doing that, take your band around the ball of your foot. So again, we're going to cross those two ends, A, because it just helps to make the band feel a little bit more secure, and B, it's actually mirroring that kind of crisscross that your muscles have throughout your body. We're going to lengthen both legs all the way down to straight to start with. And then from here, as we inhale, we're going to let that leg float up, and then we exhale to come back down. So even if you are super bendy and can throw your leg all the way over your head, I encourage you just to work within the range where you can keep your pelvis balanced on the floor. On this next one, we're just going to lower to about 45 degrees, and then we're going to bend your knee into the middle of your band and push away. As you push out, see if you can encourage your sit bone to fold a little further into your center line. So we're going to really start to wake up through that back line of your leg. Reaching that leg out to straight, we're going to turn your leg out from your hip, and we're just going to feed that leg across your center line and then back to where it came from. So we're getting a little adduction of that leg going here. I'm going to do that 3 more times. And then bringing that leg back into parallel. From here we're going to go down through the center and then circle out and around. Exhaling to lower and then finding that nice big capital D. So you only want to make these circles as big as you can without your pelvis having to shift. You're going to do 5 of these in each direction. And then we steer your leg back in the opposite direction. And then before we do the other side, let's just do a little comparison once more. So just straighten both your legs out, close your eyes, and just check in how that side of your body is feeling. So when we're doing these little check-ins, never feel like there's something that you're meant to feel here. It's just a moment to notice what may have adjusted in your body. For me, I'm feeling like that hip has got a little lower towards the floor and that leg's a little longer, but sometimes it's the opposite depending on what's happening there in the first place. All right, let's do the other side. I'm just going to move over a fraction because I'm probably going to kick my bookshelf. So starting with the leg down, and then we're going to think about rolling that hip joint back to bring your leg up and then lower. Exhaling up, inhaling down. Sit bone can move a little further away from you as your leg comes up. And then we fold that leg into your tabletop and then push out into that band. Little turn out of that thigh bone, and then we lever that leg across your center line. See if we can keep that nice sense of spiraling of those inner thighs as we go. And you really want to use your arms to lever that movement of that leg. And then coming back into the center, and we find those circles. You may find that one side it's easier to keep your pelvis still than the other. You're not, that is perfectly normal. And then we will steer them back in the opposite direction. folding that leg up one more time, and then we will just bend your knee, straighten your legs once again, and just have that little moment to check in and see how your two sides of your body are behaving. Hopefully you feel like things are fairly balanced. Again, if they're not, feel free to do a little bit more on that side which is feeling tighter or what have you. Alrighty, so you're going to bring your feet to stand onto the floor, and then just for a little warm up for your shoulders, this band is so long, we're going to bring your arms up just above your shoulders with a little bit of tension on that band. So we're just going to think of a little pull and then a little release. So we want to find your armpits drawing down to find that little bit of tension on that band. Exhaling to pull and then inhale to bring that back in. So we're just going to do 4 more of those, finding that width across the back and across the front. And then from there we're going to think about making a couple of little Easter eggs on either side of you. So just a little circle down and around, finding a little bit more tension on the band as you pull down. And then we're just going to go back in the opposite direction. Exhaling as you pull, inhaling as you release. We're just going to do that twice more. And then from the same angle, we're going to bring the band into your hands. Just have your elbows hovering just off the floor. And we're just going to go for a little pull with both hands, keeping those elbows in quite snug and seeing if we can keep those shoulder blades where they are. So we're just finding a little bit of a wake up of those rotator cuff muscles in the back of your shoulder. And then from here we're going to find that little pull, reach forward, bring it in and close. Exhale, inhale, press, exhale, home, and then back. Reaching out, push forward, so really isolating that movement in the back of the shoulder. I'm going to do that twice more. And then last one. Alrighty, popping your band away for a moment. We're just going to take your cushion away from the back of your head, if you had one there. Find a little interlace of your hands, and then we're just going to come up and find your basic abdominal curl. So as we exhale, we're going to melt your rib cage down and find a nice little curl forward, and then inhale to lengthen back to the floor. Really let your head be heavy in your hands rather than your hands pulling on your neck. Your tailbone is going to stay grounded here. Exhaling up and then inhaling down. We're going to do that just 2 more times, just getting a little warm up for your center. And then relaxing all the way down, plant your hands beside you. And we're just going to come into 4 little spine curls. So we're rolling from your tailbone up to your shoulder blades. Little scoop, tuck, roll back, sit bones draw together, and then melt your breastbone to come all the way back down. Exhaling to roll up, and then inhaling to peel back to the floor. All right, find your theraband one more time. Once again, we have a little pull on that band. This time we're going to keep that tension fairly consistent, so it's just a light amount of pull. So we're going to breathe out to bring your arms up and overhead, keeping those ribs sinking down, and then just let them come back to your chest height. Let's do that 3 more times. Up and back, keeping those heavy ribs. Twice more. You only want to go as far as you can without letting your ribs explode to the ceiling. And then we're going to put that together with that spine curl. So we're going to exhale, roll up through your hips. This time we inhale, arms come up and back. Exhale, melt through your spine, feel yourself get a little longer. And then inhale, bring those arms back. Exhale, scoop, tuck, roll through your spine. Inhale, tipping up and back from your shoulders. Exhale, melt your breastbone, lengthen to your mat. See if you can feel yourself grow a little longer with every rep. Final set here. Alrighty, so now that we've found a little bit of a warm up for your spine, we're going to come up and do a little bit of a roll down today. So let's actually do this from the top. Oh, bring yourselves around. I'm very matching with my top, matching my band. It wasn't intentional. So we're going to bring your band around the balls of your feet, exhibit A, and then we will cross those two ends once more. Sorry, it's going to bother me enormously that if I have one end longer than the other. So I'm just going to come to an angle so you can see what I'm doing. So I want to have a bit of tension on that band. As we exhale, we're just going to find a little tuck of your tail. Think of your heels pulling away from you. And then inhale, come back up, letting that band give you a little bit of help. Exhale, a little push out with your feet into that band. And then inhale to come back. We'll do just that much twice more. Exhaling back. Oh, sorry, I just did a big long singing practice and now my voice is going, we're tired. Coming back up. Last one, this time I'm going to stay down there and just take a little row from your elbows and then push forward. Exhale, pull, and then press. Reach back and push forward. Keep your heels pushing away from you. And that little apple underneath your chin. 3 more. Exhale, pull, inhale back. Last one. Come down a little further, and then as you straighten your arms, come all the way back up. This time we're going to go all the way down. So find that tug of your tail, roll through your spine all the way to the bottom. Inhale, breastbone melts you forward, and then come all the way back up. Tucking to roll under, melting forward, and then coming back. So you'll feel how that band is actually going to give us quite a lot of help on the way up. And it makes it a little more challenging on the way down. This time we're going to pause when we get to that halfway point, and we're going to row just with your right arm and come back in, and just with your left arm and come back in, and come up just a few more bones, and then we go right and back and left and back and come up just a few more bones, right and back and left and back. Sneaking up a couple more, right and back and left and back, and then come all the way back up to the top. Good job. We're going to come and do a little side lying sequence. So we're just going to sneak one foot out and then take your band over the other leg. Negotiating my position here. I might. That'll do. My face might be out of shot, but we'll live. So we're going to think about really kicking into that band and creating as much of a gap in your side waist as we can here. So keeping that waistband level, we're just going to have a little lift and lower of that leg, keeping it in that parallel. So we are abducting your hip. We're going to do that 4 more times. Little fold and then lower. Twice more. This time we're going to lift that leg in your parallel and then turn it out to come down. So we're getting a little bit of a circle or a little bit of a swivel inside that hip socket. Heel leads up and then heel leads down. Think about giving your shoulder into that band rather than resisting it away from it. Finding that parallel once more, and we're going to find a little kick forward and then lengthen that leg behind you. Inhale forward. As you push back, let your front hip sneak a little further forwards. This exercise is called side kick, even though it is in fact a front back kick. We're going to do that 2 more times. And then we're going to hold that leg behind you and just have a little bend into that heel and then push into your band to extend. Inhale, bend. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, bend. We are aiming to keep your foot in parallel. Mine likes to sneak to turn out. Twice more here. And then we're going to take that into a lovely big rond de jambe. So we'll bring that leg forward and then up and back. Just moving your leg as much as you can without your pelvis having to shift. I'm going to go twice more, going forwards. And then we reverse, so we lever that heel back. And then we come up and over. Heel pushes away. Pivot from that hip to come up and around. Twice more. Exhale back. And then inhale, pivot. Last one. So, crafty little switch. We are going to just take your underneath foot into your band. Stretch that leg away and just stand your opposite foot in front of you on the floor. If that's not comfortable, feel free to grab another cushion or a roller and just make a little stack to go underneath that knee. I will stay here. We have a little lift and push away. Exhale up, inhale down. 2 hips square to the front of your screen. 4 more. The leg won't be able to come very high. If you can go super high, it's a sign that those hips have twisted. We're going to keep that leg at the top, which is a valid thing to do, but it's not what we're doing right now. And we have a little pulse. And then we go for a little pivot in that hip joint. And then we go back the other way. Lift it a millimetre higher, lower that leg, and then we will keep that same leg in your band so it can be your top leg on the other side. And it's also just a way to make sure we have the same amount of stretch in your band. So first of all, we find that nice balanced waistband and that parallel leg comes up and down. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Pushing out into that band with that foot. And then we're going to go up in your parallel, down in your turn out. So make sure that it is your hip that starts to turn that leg out, rather than just your knee and your ankle. Twice more. Alrighty, pause in that parallel and then we bring that leg forward and reach it behind you. Inhale forward and exhale back. Four more times. holding that leg slightly behind you, we have that little curl in, and then push away. So we're creating a little more length through the front of your leg as you contract through the back of the leg. And then finding that rond-de-jambe. So we will go forward, over and around. Let your arm guide your leg. And then we'll reverse, coming up and over, circling in. Alrighty, once more, switching feet, push into that band. Ooh. Find that position of that leg, and then we exhale up, inhale down. And then we're going to hold up there and just find a little pulse. And then we circle. And take that back the other way. Lift a little higher. And then relaxing that leg off. So we will sneak your foot out of that band. We're going to come and do a little bit of extension work here. So to set up, we're just going to bring your cushion down to rest under your head. And we're going to have your band going across the back of your hips. Long, long band. So find that nice sense of your belly lifting. So as always, when I'm on my tummy, I'm going to keep my head turned to the camera, but I'd like you to keep looking down at the floor because that's a slightly nicer position for your neck. So we're going to think about those shoulders widening up and away, that little tuck of your tail, and then, sorry, I'm just headbutting my pillow forward. That's better. From here, we're going to inhale, pull your band wide, and come up into your little extension. And then relaxing back down. So we pull out as we reach away. There's a little bit of braiding on my leotard I'm wearing under this top that is digging into my ribs in a most unpleasant way. Just thought I'd share that with you. On our next one, we're going to come up and stay up. And we're going to pull that band a little wider and release. See how wide you can keep your collarbone as you have that little pull. Reaching out, bringing that in. 4 more. And then we're just going to draw a little circle up and around. And then go back the other way. Come a little further. And relax down. Just have a quick breather in your child's pose. So you can either stretch your arms forward or you can bring them behind you, whatever you feel like you need to do. And then from here, we're going to come all the way up to set up for a little bit of kneeling. I'm just going to move this out of shot. Alrighty, so to come into this one, we put your band down on the floor. We stand on your band. Toes over the edge. Cross 2 ends over. Part A. Then from there, we want tension on that band. Place your hands on the floor and we move your foot behind you. Your knee is going in between those 2 points in your band. If it's too much or not enough, you can fairly easily adjust with your hands from here. Fairly easily, she says. Alrighty, so from here we're just going to start with a little kick into that band and then let the band bring your leg in. So it's a wee bit like you're scooter action on your reformer. So exhale, push out, inhale to come back in. I'm going to do that 4 more times. Hold that leg out there, and then we lift and we lower. Exhale up, inhale down. Hold it up once more, and we bend that knee, and we straighten. Hello hamstrings. Folding in, and pushing out. 4 more. Lucky last one. Lift it a millimeter, and then fold that leg back in. If you're very tricky, you may manage to just do a little swap-a-roo in that position. If not, pause tape, rewind, get yourself here the best way you can. So we have that little scooter. It's almost like a little sort of slingshot action, as in an actual slingshot, not the what do you call it? Internet provider. Yeah, that thing. Hold your leg out there, and we lift your hip, and we lower. Think about your imaginary cup of coffee on your lower spine. Could use one of those very shortly. A real one, not an imaginary one. And then hold the top, and we curl in and out. Always a little tougher on this side. You'll probably find that one side will be a little more challenging. Twice more. Bye. Last one. Oh. Alrighty, from here you can just let that leg come all the way in. Sneak your foot out of there and just come and have a little rest step back in your child's pose, checking the time. There we go, we're fine. Alrighty, so rolling yourselves all the way up. I'm just going to do a rather unclassy maneuver of putting my camera up on the chair so that you'll be able to see me more or less in full length. Hold that thought. Okay, so from here we're going to take your band down to the floor and stand on it. So your feet can be hips distance apart. And we want to have a little bit of tension on that band. So we're going to come and do a little lift and then roll up and back with those shoulders. So the band is going to encourage your shoulders to have a little bit of a drop down. If you have shoulders that tend to dislocate a little bit, I would encourage you to use quite a light tension because we do not want your shoulders to dislocate. Alrighty, so from here we're just going to find a little bit more tension on one side to come into a little bit of a lean up and over, and then push through the opposite heel to come back up. A little tip up and over the rainbow, and then come back through center. So just start to find a little bit of a flow with this movement. And we want to enjoy that nice sort of springiness that that band gives you. So we're getting that nice sense of your internal and external obliques, getting that little sort of basket weave slide together that they do when you side bend. And then pausing in the center, a little bend of your knees. From here we're going to let your breastbone come into a little melt forward, and then just continue down to a nice roll all the way to a wee spine curl at the bottom. Breathing in here as you breathe out, send your tailbone forward. As you start to restack and bring that tension back onto your band, We get a little bit of that nice sense of widening and opening through your center. We're just going to do that 3 more times. Last one. All right, at the top, just very carefully step off your band so it doesn't go ping. We're just going to bring your band around the back of your shoulders just to give you a little bit of that sense of width here. And then to finish off, we're just going to inhale into a little spine twist and then exhale to come back into the center. Super old school Pilates, but you know, sometimes an oldie is a goodie. Inhaling to find that nice twist of your spine. And then come back in, just bend your elbows, let your band go. And that is us for today. I hope you have enjoyed this workout. As I said, it's a slightly shorter one today. There are lots more things you can do with the theraband, obviously, and in future I will do a longer workout, particularly incorporating a little bit more of that really nice upper body resistance we can do. If you did like this video, please do click like, click subscribe. It'd be great to hear some feedback from you about the kind of videos that would be useful for you in your life. Do you want more dance-based things, more functional movement? Tell me all about it. Alrighty, have a great rest of your day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!